Freddy, do you want to come closer? Do you want to come up here? He just got fed, so I feel like he's not going to come for any treats. Although he might. He probably will. We'll wait a little bit. Good afternoon, everyone. So, the title of this live is Taro, Taro, Taro. And that is because I bought a ginormous taro last weekend for Hot Pot with friends, and I had a lot of it left over. I prepped it, I cut it, I didn't cook it for the whole week because I just didn't. So I was thinking we could steam it until it's nice and creamy, and then we can put some sugar, maybe a little bit of butter in there, mix it up like we did the sweet potatoes, and then make another batch of tangyum for Lalo. She seemed to like that last batch, so that's what I plan on doing. I'm also probably going to make some smoothie with frozen strawberries that were like kind of not good. I bought them for a discount. I picked out the good ones for Grandma, and I froze the bad ones after rinsing them. So we'll grind those up. I'm kind of in a little agitated mood right now. I'm not going to go into details because then people are going to call me out for being toxic again, but just know that if I feel off, it's because I am off. And I hope you will allow me the space to be off today. And if you don't feel like allowing me the space to be off today, I bid you a good day, Sir, Madam Unicorn, and I hope you can find some happier content to your heart's desires. So that's that. Yay! I came home after a walk to Brooklyn, and I did some shopping for work at the Whole Foods there because I'm not going to make the farmer's market tomorrow, and they have slightly happier chickens, or so I think, than my not so bougie stores around this area. And then I came home and found that a sauce, a McDonald's sauce that I have to use for work next week, simply exploded all over in the bag, contaminated 2 of my shopping totes. Who knows what else it has contaminated? It is it's just a cherry on top of my shitty mood right now, so. I'm about to rinse this bag off so I can use what didn't explode for work. And then we'll get to steaming things. I don't know who the culprit is. We'll see. I have honey mustard, tangy barbecue. Oh, found the culprit. He's empty. Mr. fucking Spicy Buffalo. It's not easy being in my bag, you know. I put a lot of shit in that bag, and if you crack easily under pressure, this is what happens. The saddest thing to me about this whole thing is I can't use this bag anymore. So off to go in the landfill forever and ever. I was looking forward to using that reusable bag. I will also just say that ever since New York City has the plastic bag ban, it's essentially not gotten better in terms of waste because people still just buy bags. They're just like hardier plastic, I guess, that takes even longer to biodegrade, and they assume that you'll use it more than once, but are you actually? I don't know. It's weird. We have all these legislations in place to hopefully make things better, but it doesn't seem like it. And to go back to my shitty mood discussion, I didn't have an awful day. I'm just very tired. And then I came home and something unexpected happened, which made me very upset. But it happened. And I'm trying to not continue being upset, and I'm very glad to be on this live, because hopefully I will even out by not stewing in my anger alone, which is only gonna hurt myself, and of course the people around me, but mostly myself. Because then it'll end up making me hate myself more. So, I'm not taking responsibility for being angry though. I'll take 35% responsibility for being angry, but I think my anger this time around was more justified than maybe you've witnessed before. I'm just washing a regular old blue mask. I wear it twice. I know that effectiveness goes down with every washing, but I also just, I don't feel like throwing this out in the garbage after one use. It just makes me feel awful. So. Also, I will just note, very interestingly, New York City lifted its mask ban. Still in Woodside and Queens where I live, which is very immigrant heavy neighborhood, I see a lot of masks. I walk to a very bougie, very white, very yuppie Greenpoint, Williamsburg, all of that surrounding area. No masks at all. Like, actually that's not true. I saw a group of people who were playing in McCarran Park with masks on, but besides them, everyone else I pass in the streets, no mask at all. I was so surprised. And I get it, because you're not required to wear masks anymore, but it's also very interesting to see the differences between neighborhoods and demographics. I know the blue masks, the fabric masks, aka the two masks that I wear are not very effective, but I haven't gotten COVID yet, or maybe I have and I just didn't know. I don't know anymore, guys. Do we still have feelings about COVID? Because I feel like we've burnt out. I feel like we have feelings about COVID, but we've kind of resigned. I just don't know what to feel anymore. Oh, vitamins. Good reminder. Thank you. If COVID could fucking go away, Grandma could go back to China. It's possible that Grandma can go back to China, but there are just a lot of steps right now because of COVID. The most bureaucratic process I've ever seen for flying anywhere, and also no direct flights, and also a 21 to 28 day quarantine period once you land. The problem is most flights go through Taiwan with a 1 day layover. After Taiwan, you have to get your way to China, and after China, we have to get Grandma back to Beijing. So it's like, there are just so many steps at which we can fail, and can you imagine being healthy and then contracting COVID during that trip back, and then getting tested when she lands and they're like, you're positive, we're not going to let you into the country. I don't know how it works. On the last live where I took you guys composting on that ill-fated walk where I was just bitching and complaining about how weak my arms were, somebody commented that I was virtue signaling by wearing a mask. I don't give a fuck about virtue signaling or virtue. Period. Honestly, who gives a shit? I just want to make sure that I don't get sick so I can still go see grandma every day. And I've also gotten used to wearing a mask for the past 2 years. It kind of feels weird without it. And if we're going to go there, I really don't like my face right now. So, when I go out and I can wear a mask, it feels nicer for me mentally. Can you relate? Alright, you've seen this before. Water in a pot, little strainer, colander, a steamer basket, whatever you want to call it. And then we're just gonna put our taro inside. Oh, you can't see anything. For sure, I think rich areas don't take COVID as seriously, period. They're less cautious. They have more resources to throw in if they need, if they get sick. You know, it's just, I think it's a different world. For sure, I think Greenpoint is a much richer, and Williamsburg too, a much richer neighborhood than Woodside. Why do you only wear one dangling earring? It's because the other one closed up. Is taro interchangeable with other tropical tubers? You know, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. It tastes a little bit like a creamy potato to me. I'm gonna rinse these because they've been sitting cut in the fridge for a while. Some of them have started to feel gunky, so I'm going to take your comments with me and I'm going to rinse them carefully so no one gets sick. Are taros related to yams? You know, I do not know these answers. I just know taro is delicious. Pesto pasta. That sounds good. Okay, y'all, help me recipe develop. Do you have a favorite orzo recipe? And if so, can you tell me what it is so I can get some ideas for developing a orzo pasta recipe? Because it's another recipe we're just trying to fulfill SEO, I guess, SEO requirements for, and it's very non-specific. So I was thinking of a simple kind of cacio pepe vibe, but with a lot of herbs so that it's a very green risotto. What do you guys think? I think we're gonna go hot. I don't think we're gonna do a pasta salad. I think that might be a different search inquiry. Ooh, brown butter and pine nuts sound great, yes. finding the lid. Did I take the lid out already? My God. Okay, yes. Here we go. Now I'm gonna need to find the mochi flour. Thank you. Can't remember if we measured the tangyan dough last time. What do you mean, where are we hanging off? You're not hanging, you're on a tripod. You've always been on a tripod. Hot pot dinner was amazing. It was really nice to have a dinner with friends. Made me feel kind of normal again, which was a treat, a true treat. Okay, for the dough. What's your favorite tip for getting yourself out of an angry rut? What do you do anything to pull yourself out of anger? I don't know if screaming and slamming doors are what I'm looking for right now. I also noticed that I do have urges to scream, but the last time that I screamed was on New Year's Eve, and a whole thing was going on with Grandma, and I was very upset. And I was walking back from Manhattan into Queens, and I was on a bridge with a lot of car traffic, and I thought, this is the perfect place to scream, because nobody will hear me, and all the cars will be driving by so fast they won't even see me. Nobody will notice, and I'm just gonna do it. And I did it. And I screamed, and I screamed until my throat hurt. And then I was like, wow, that felt really shitty. Cause like I wasn't able to scream until I got everything out. It was just like, you know how you, there's like these old clown routines where they're pulling this rainbow ribbon out of their mouths, and it's just like a never-ending ribbon. It kind of felt like that. There was no end to the ribbon, and then my throat was really sore for 2 days. I think one of the hardest things is just getting stuck with emotions. You can't really make it go anywhere. So we have the mochiko, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of sweetened condensed milk. And then I'm just waiting on the water to boil. Life and Beth? I've not heard of that. Where is Fred? Correction, Fred does not always make June happy. Sometimes Fred even angers June, but the anger that's directed at Fred dissipates relatively quickly compared to others. But June will eat a tiny little orange now. float pods near me. I'm also not sure if I'd be willing to pay for such a thing, but it sounds intriguing. Fred is a relatively good boy. He does not get zoomies, but he will wake me up at 6 because he's hungry. Usually about 2 hours before his meal times, he'll start getting hungry. Hi, Freddy. Do you want to smell an orange? I know you're not supposed to eat orange, but oh, yes. He knows he's not supposed to eat orange. Fred, do you want to come to the kitchen? Do you want to come to the kitchen? I think if I give him trees, he'll come to the kitchen, but he literally just had lunch half an hour ago. Yeah, New York is very warm today. Low to mid 60s. My face does kind of have cat features. Kind of like we got like a little flat nose thing going. Judgmental eyes. Kind of like a little downturned lip. Yep. Yeah, float pods are like a very luxurious activity. I think if I'm the type of person who doesn't even go to movies, I don't think pod activity is in my future, you know? We are making taro filling and tangyuan dough again because Lala seems to like this offering of food. So I'm just making do with what I have in my fridge, and I happen to have taro, which is great because taro is delicious. My fingertips are burning because that boiling water is very hot. I don't take baths either. I feel like it would make me feel very grossed out to be in there for an extended period of time. I'm kind of germophobic, My mom was very much a germaphobe, so I feel like I was brought up in that mentality of like, the less you touch, the better. Advice for no-knead bread recipes: use bread flour and be prepared to have a lot of inactive time set aside for that recipe. Sourdough is pretty much no knead. You just need time to develop the gluten for you rather than manually working the gluten out with kneading action. I use and cook with butter, but not a lot. I use it mostly in baking, but butter is dairy, and so when I just need a fat to cook with, it's usually just oil. I just go for the oil. It was kind of hard for me to walk away from anger, which I do try to walk away from it physically, like I leave the space, but I had just come home and something that happened at home was what made me angry, and I was dead tired, so I wasn't about to walk out again. And also I had scheduled this live to go about 20 minutes after I got home, or maybe just 10 minutes after I got home, so that added to it because I had plans. But here we are, trying to let go of it. I love improv dancing, actually. I took a half-credit course in college on improv dancing. I love the concept of it. And I love the fact that it's like not very intimidating for a beginner to just participate in it. Because there is a wrong way to move in which you fall and you completely just don't work with your partner, but it doesn't have a lot of beginner technique that you might need for other forms of dancing. Very postmodern art form, shall we say? I haven't cooked with Sago, and I don't go to boxing anymore. I have lost an interest in boxing. I don't know quite why, but I don't feel like punching things anymore. It just feels like I'm hurting myself now. The taro is starting to smell like it's cooking. A little bit like instant mashed potatoes with a little bit of parsnip note. So that's what we got for the tongyan dough. We're not going to talk about Aaron. We're going to respect the power and balance I have and not talk about Aaron. We're just going to focus on me. It was always about me to begin with anyway. smoothie now. I have never seen Ozark, and I don't think I would like it. I don't think I would get into it. I like Jason Bateman in Arrested Development, but I think I just liked Arrested Development. I got some 3 for $1 discount mango. I don't know how bad these are, but I think they're gonna be good in our smoothie. I like how the sticker says this color for best taste, and it has a shade of yellow. That's actually very helpful. Lala has requested that I bring her eggs every day now, so that's something new that we're doing. Just a boiled egg, easy enough. It has been a long while since I've used this Vitamix. A very long while. Hi, Nalco. So it's probably not good to use strawberries that had soft spots, but I just washed them out and I'm gonna use them, and it's probably gonna give me cancer sometime down the road, but we're still at this part of the road, so I'm gonna eat them. I have not been thrifting for clothes lately, mostly because I have all the clothes I need, but I do plan on meeting a friend tomorrow and checking out some thrift stores just to see her. It's been a long time since I've seen friends, period. So we'll see what I find tomorrow. No trips. I'm planning no trips. I have my grandmother. I don't think I can leave the country or the city for longer than 2 days. That's just how life is gonna be. Smells really good. She draws sometimes. She's very hard on herself. She always says it's not any good. She tends to draw the same thing over and over again. I guess she just feels more safe doing something she knows. But I'll go in sometimes and there will be like art in the trash that she didn't deem good enough. So we all have a little bit of a Asian overachiever in us, I guess. I remember when I taught in China for a year, I had to teach 6th graders art class, and it was a struggle getting a lot of them to participate because they would always say, I'm not an artist, I'm going to fail anyway, so what's the point of trying? Because I think the way education works in China is it kind of sets you up to either succeed or fail against a single kind of metric, and once you don't conform to that metric, you are automatically deemed a failure. Very unlike the US, where, you know, individuality is prized and celebrated, or so we think, but is it actually? I have to care for her. It's what Mom died trying to do, is take care of her, so I'm gonna try to finish the job as best as I can. And, you know, part of the reasoning is I was supposed to take care of Mom when she got old. It's just in the Chinese culture to do so. And now I'll never have that chance. So Grandma's the best I got to redeem myself in that respect. It's just a different culture, y'all. Bye, Val. $52 likes. It's higher than 0, smaller than infinity, just like any other number. I don't really burn incense. It's not really a tradition I grew up with in particular, but I did burn some that I found in Mom's house. And also a viewer who was helping me clean out the house and sort through stuff and give me advice right after Mom died gifted me some, so I burned the ones that she gave me, but I haven't bought any new ones. And if I'm honest with you, I don't really want to have an altar set up for my mom like you may see in a lot of traditional Chinese households and setups where they have like a ancestor altar. It feels weird, maybe because I didn't grow up with it, and also I don't know if Mom would want it. I know it feels weird to say, but I don't think she wants to be remembered as a dead person. I think it might make her happier if I remembered her by eating her favorite stuff and thinking about her when I eat. And hopefully going to the places she never got to go to. There was a very strange dream that I had. The first dream that I had after Mom died that had her in it. She looked so tired in it, and she had this look on her face. And I don't remember if she talked to me at all in the dream, but she just had this look on her face that's like, you still need things from me? Like she wanted to be left alone. And I think that was the day I woke up from that dream. And Fred had jumped up on the dining table where I still had the picture of Mom in the frame. And he, I guess, scampered across the table and, like, knocked over the little cup of just water that I offered to Mom in my makeshift informal altar of sorts. And it basically, like, kind of just flooded across the table, and I was like, maybe Mom doesn't want this. So I put the photo away, and I took the offering cup away, and it felt lighter on me. I don't know what that means, but I felt like more at peace after her photo was put away. So maybe she felt more at peace too. If she's still somewhere in the ether. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know anything. Except this Taro is cooking. I would say just like 4 more minutes and we are done so. Yes. I think I did go in for a hug at the end of that dream. And when I hugged her, I felt her skin, like the skin around her neck and face on me, and it felt very soft. It was a very interesting dream, for sure. I think we're gonna need to put some water in here. I have run out of yogurt, so ooh. I have this super sweet instant banana pudding that I made like a week ago. Can you tell? Should I put it in there? I think I'll put some in there. This is gonna be a weird smoothie, y'all. A weird smoothie. I just wanted to show you the color. It's very fun. Sometimes I just let the Vitamix spin on the lowest speed, and that'll break up some of the bigger chunks and warm up the rest of the smoothie so that you don't need to like burn out the motor. It works. For the most part. Not always. This was a refurbished Vitamix. I don't know if it's supposed to sound this way. I just know that it works. So we'll just keep using it. I do hate the squat container though. I've mentioned this many times before. It just gets stuck very often. And I don't like using the tamp. It just feels like one more thing I would have to wash. I'm sure life will be much easier with the tamp. You are supposed to use the tamp with the Vitamix. I just don't like it. I'm stubborn. What can I say? It's very thick right now, which is probably why it's struggling. Hello, Nicaragua. Nicaragua. I always have a little trouble saying that country fast. Okay, I'm gonna taste this, and if it tastes good, I'll put in some of the banana pudding and fuck it up. It's like sorbet. I don't use whey protein now. That is very refreshing. Could definitely use some sugar from the banana pudding. You know what else we should put in there? Spirulina. It's gonna turn it a whole different color. Oh my god. I think our taro's done. Turn that off. I feel like the banana pudding makes it not health. That stuff has so much sugar in it. Spirulina tastes a little bit like alien seagrass. Or maybe it just looks like it. Wow. With the banana inside, this totally reminds me of, I think it was Tropicana that used to always do like orange, strawberry, banana juices, and it would always have like a lot of orange juice and a lot of sugar and a lot of water and a little bit of the other fruit juices. I think if you froze that juice and you turned it into a whipped frozen thingy-majiggy like this, that's what it would taste like. I'm gonna add in the spirulina. I just want it to be green and weird. We only have a little bit of it left. And now we're gonna ruin this color. Y'all are gonna get very mad at me. reminds me of? Like, you know those like marble pencils you used to get at art museums in their gift shop? This kind of reminds me of like a marble pencil. But yes, spirulina just looks like green mold powder, basically. Great. Not too bad. It definitely looks like salmon mousse now. Something Fred would eat for sure. It brings out the berryness a lot more. It almost makes this taste like there's raspberries in it. I think raspberries have kind of like a metallic taste, and the spirulina brings that out. It's like, when it's tender, it's creamy, but only after you like mash it or chew it. Right now, it just looks kind of dry and fluffy. Yeah, when I make smoothies, they're never liquid or quite straw suckable. They're always very spoonable. I like that thicker texture. I've never had a fancy LA or New York acai bowl, but I feel like when people talk about acai bowls, this is the consistency of that $12 to $16 bowl that they pay for. So, I mean, this probably cost me 80 cents. I always find it fascinating that when you steam root vegetables, the water turns starchy. I don't know how does the starch leach into the water? I guess maybe there's some sort of cell structure breakdown when the root vegetables cook and they just leak moisture and the moisture carries starch with it. But this water is kind of starchy. It smells delightful. Yes. Blended frozen bananas are delicious.
one time I told my mom I love taro because my favorite flavor of bubble tea is taro, and it's purple. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna make you taro. And she just basically steamed taro for me, and I ate it, and I was like, this is what taro tastes like? Because taro without added sugar does not quite taste like the taro that you get from fast food taro presentations. Taro without the sugar, it's a little too hot for me to handle. It's very bland. It does have a nice creaminess to it in terms of taste, but it's not very pronounced. And so it is very underwhelming if you have it for the first time without anything on it. So then when I said, this is really not good tasting, Mom, she brought out a plate of sugar, and we literally just dipped the taro in the sugar and ate it that way. So why don't we try one now? There's no time for how long you steam taro. It depends on how you cut the taro. You cut it in bigger pieces, it takes longer. You cut it in smaller pieces, it takes shorter. Just stab it with a knife, and when it looks mealy and done, you're done. People who need numbers for everything, let go of it. Numbers are useless. They do not help you at all. Ube is another root vegetable. Ube looks more like a purple sweet potato. It is much more of a darker purple than taro. Once I mash this taro up, you'll see that it turns into a lavender shade, a barely noticeable purple. So here we have, yeah, my top is kind of taro colored, you're right. And here that was a lot of sugar. Mom would not have approved. Oh look, spirulina on my lip. Mom would have been like, that's too much sugar, you're gonna get diabetes. Yum. It's so fluffy. And then you eat it, and it's so creamy. It kind of like has the same effect that peanut butter has, where it just like gets stuck and slowly slides down your gullet. Delicious. Yum, 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 yum. Can I just say, I had poi one time, and I was so disappointed. It didn't taste like anything. And I was expecting like fermented taro to taste like something, but it did not. Okay, I'm gonna mash up this taro now, so we can make a taro paste for Grandma. And it's gonna be a pretty boring stream. I'm glad I'm not the only person who thinks poi is disappointingly boring. Because it truly is. And if you disagree with me, you're gonna have to take me to a place that makes exciting poi and show me what the good stuff tastes like. Because I have not had it, my friend. poi haters in the comments. Do we have any poi lovers who can shed light? We just added some turbinado sugar. Poi is a Hawaiian dish. It's kind of like a side dish. It's kind of like a, I feel like it's served as a, like a kimchi almost. Like it's supposed to accompany other dishes. It's a fermented taro paste. Kind of slimy. Doesn't have much flavor the time I had it, but I've only had it once as my disclaimer. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of butter into our taro paste. Do you know what I just thought about is why the fuck is everybody trying to fly into space and conquer another planet when we still haven't figured out how to do teleportation? Can we just first figure out how to teleport? And I feel like that might make things easier too if you want to conquer the rest of space. Because how easy would it be for me to give grandma 3 PCR tests, which is what the Chinese government requires before she flies off, and then just fucking teleport her back to Beijing, and then she can quarantine right at home? That would be amazing, wouldn't it? There's no contact with other potential COVID patients on an international flight that has a 20-hour layover across 3 different airports, potentially 4 if she can only fly into Shanghai, because China has very limited flights that have very limited destinations and place of origin. I don't know. It's very convoluted. But if we had teleportation, this would all be solved, wouldn't it? Do I still have spirulina on my lips? I think green lipstick should be a thing. You know? It should be more of a thing. Yeah, this is very thick. This is basically masa dough thickness, which is why I was like, let's add some butter, because it might melt and glue it together. I don't want to make it sludgy, because that's going to make it very hard to shape as a filling, but I also want it to be not crumbly like this. I need it to hold together like a cookie dough. Does anybody have any good tips on how to do eye makeup for monolids? Because I have uneven, I don't know if you can tell right now, it's more distinct when I'm tired. You can see that one eyelid is slightly more double-lidded than the other, which is more of a straight monolid. When I'm tired, the double lid will like kind of fall down and you can see it. But when I'm not tired, which is most days, or when my face is swollen, if I put eyeliner on here, it doesn't even show when my eyes are open, but this one will show. So even if I do my makeup equally on each eye, it will still look wonky as hell. Do I feel safe living in New York in light of recent hate crimes? I don't feel any more unsafe than before. Hate crimes have always existed. I feel like the media started picking them up more for whatever reason, as it suits them, as it suits the news cycle. This has always been a fact of life, unfortunately. Maybe because of COVID, there's been more anti-Asian hate, but honestly, it's just more of the same. Can you imagine how much police brutality occurred before we had things like smartphones that took videos in everyone's hands? And even now, it's still happening, even if we have the video evidence, and it takes for fucking ever for people to get convicted of hate crimes, just as it suits the powers that be and the systems that be to punish those who it would benefit to punish. I probably should have added some taro water, you're right. But we'll just keep adding butter now. It'll be fine. Also, fuck Adams. I fucking hate him. He's a piece of shit. That's it. The way he talks to people, completely disrespectful. He, through his speech to his constituents, you can see how corrupt he is and how he is so used to abusing power and how he is so used to using hierarchy to justify whatever shit he does. Like, I don't even know that much about him besides the fact that he was in cahoots with the police before he was mayor, and he's had his hands deep in the pockets of a lot of money things. But watching him in action, communicating, if you can call it that, interacting with people who disagree with him, who bring up complaints and ask him to clarify his positions on things, you can just see the amount of disregard he has for people he supposedly represents. I am very sad to see that this is our new mayor. Bye, Yvonne. The problem with doing makeup on my eyes isn't just that I'm monolid, it's that they're uneven monolids. Like, this one is a little bit more double-lidded than this one. So it's very hard without skills. Like, I don't do makeup, probably because it always looks shitty, and then with the lack of practice of doing makeup, it just continues to look shitty. So I give up. We can't get ourselves a good mayor for the same reason why we can't get ourselves a good president. Because the people who run, who actually want to affect change, aren't supported by the status quo systems that have to keep their interests in place. They don't have the money to run their campaigns as much as those who are supported by big businesses and special interest groups are. So they lose because they can't buy enough airtime, they can't buy enough posters, they can't buy enough, favorable views. They don't even get known by most of the constituents, and then, that's the kind of electoral side of things, and then just the societal side of things is like, we don't get days off for voting. Nobody has time to pay attention to politics. We don't think it's anything that we actually have true agency in, which is really sad. We have a democracy, but we also don't. It's kind of like giving people the seeds to a plant and then not providing them with the soil. How are you supposed to grow your own food if you don't have a key component for nurturing that food to maturity? Our society doesn't prize actually giving us agency, and it doesn't actually prize democracy because that would mean chaos. And also, it would not really benefit those who it currently benefits. So, we have the seeds, we don't have the soil. How do we get the soil to everybody so they can actually grow the seeds? I don't know. Bye, Shreyoshri. Shreyoshri? Alright, it's coming into a paste. I think once it cools off a little bit, I might drop another tab of butter in there, but we can probably make some filling out of this. You see that light lavender kind of coming through? It's kind of like a pinky-ish lavender. Let me just taste a plain bite. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of tastes like a less astringent russet potato. A little bit fluffier and drier. A little bit sweeter. Have a good time cleaning your garage. What should we talk about next while I make these very, very boring tangendo balls and fillings? There's still 290 of you here. So, you know, if you've ever wanted strangers to talk about a random topic at your will, now's the time to do it. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep talking about how you put makeup on monolids. Would taro be good candied? I think so. I think it would be delightful. Any other things to ask about grief and grieving? Oh, there's so much. I just kept like randomly crying on the street today, and I thankfully had my mask on because otherwise it would just look so weird to not be able to hide. Hide all of the pain and the guilt. Pain and the guilt. New topic, bananas. Fantastic. Eat them, love them, have them forever. They're affordable. They're just so weirdly not fruit and fruit at the same time. Pie? Pie's okay. It's an acquired taste. I'm not sure pie would be like among my favorite desserts in the world, but pie is nice. It can be nice. Whole Foods makes a really good blueberry pie. South by Southwest, isn't that like, is it a music festival or a film festival? I think it's a film festival, is that right? I've never been. I don't know what it looks like. I'm sure it's fun. I don't know anybody who keeps a fish tank in New York City, but I'm sure they exist somewhere. Do you feel your mom's presence? For the most part, no, but I think it really depends on what your beliefs are. Some people believe there is an afterlife. Some people believe there is a spiritual realm in which, you know, it kind of coincides with our reality. Some people believe there's a heaven and a hell, and if, you know, like, hopefully your relatives who are good people are in heaven and they look over you. There's just different kinds of beliefs. Me, I don't know what to believe. I don't know what I believe anymore. So it just depends on the day that I'm in. I think the other day I was walking and it just felt really sunny. The kind of sun that kind of just drapes down on you and feels like you're right next to a gentle radiator, and it just felt really pleasant. And I was like, maybe that's mom, I don't know. A lot of maybes in my life, very few certainties. What are the advantages to boiling vegetable? I guess if you want to mash it, but I almost always advocate for steam to preserve more of the flavors and nutrients than a boil. A boil is fine if you plan on drinking the water, aka in a soup. How long have you had your microwave and do you like it? I got sent this Breville model. I think it was used in showrooms, so it was like kind of banged up, but they were like, do you want it? Test it out. I was like, sure. I got rid of mom's half-broken toaster oven, which, fuck. I just remembered, I kept thinking, I'm gonna return that toaster oven to mom because I stole it from her house. Because I was like, I need this for work. Do you still need it? You have a microwave, can I have it? And then she gave it to me. The timer on it was broken. It would never like turn itself off. And one time I came back and it was on for like who knows how long and the whole thing was hot. Memories, they just pop up in grief. It is still sitting in my closet somewhere, I think. No, I gave it away. I think I gave it away. Kind of wish I kept it. I also just had a moment today where I was like, fuck, that was a very stupid thing to do. Mom's cell phone was very old. It was a hand-me-down from me once upon a time. It had been breaking, like just randomly shutting off on her even while she was still alive, and I remember her saying she wanted a new phone, but obviously we never got her a new phone. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna transition her SIM card to a new phone so that it doesn't shut down on me, and then I wiped it so I could donate it to who knows who wants a half-broken phone, but I was like, somebody's might want this. And then I just realized today that that was really dumb of me, because now I no longer know who the last people she texted and were in regular communications with are anymore. So, that's that. What do you do when you feel lost in life? Get used to it. I think I used to cry and get really depressed, but now I'm used to feeling lost. And I think now lost is just the status quo. It's kind of like the, whatchamacallit. There's a biology term for it when everything's in balance. That's what feeling lost in life is. I don't think there is a direction for me in life. I've been directionless and goalless, aimless for a very long time now. I don't particularly mind it. I think it gives me some peace in the long run. So I don't mind feeling lost in life. It's only when you don't want to be lost that it hurts you. How to deal with lack of motivation? I don't have an answer to that. I have been lacking a lot of motivation since mom died to do anything. Everything just feels overwhelming. But sometimes the lack of motivation isn't that you don't want to do it. Sometimes the lack of motivation is caused by the sense of, I can't perfect it, I can't do it well enough, and then you get paralyzed in that self-doubt, in which case it's up to you to sort that shit out with yourself however it works for you, and just be like, you're alive, you have to make some moves, or you're basically the Living Dead. Someone asked me if there are more doors or wheels in the world, and I can't stop thinking about that. Team Doors, though. Interesting. Does ghost stuff freak you out? No. Like, stories? I mean, if it's a scary story, like the one where it's like, you go upstairs, you hear your mom call you from the other room, and then all of a sudden, you hear your mom calling for you down the stairs. Which one is your mom, and who's the other person? Like, that kind of shit scares the shit out of me. But is that a ghost story, or just, you know, a random scare tale? I've been looking into tattoo artists, and there's actually one tattoo artist that I really like, and I think he works out of somewhere near Boston. Not exactly Boston. But I'm sure I'll go someday when I want to just tat my body up. I actually tried to get on the waiting list. A tattoo artist that I'm really interested in just opened his books today. I got the email. It came through my inbox at 12:31 p.m. And by the time I clicked into the link to sign up and book, it was 28 minutes later and everything was filled up already. So I guess if I want a tattoo from an artist that I really like, I gotta be like really just staring at my phone for 2 years. Homeostasis. I'm really behind in the comments, but that is the word. Thank you. I was never good at biology. I don't like scary things, unfortunately. I'm the kind of person who watches a scary movie and then can't go peeing by herself for the next 2 days. My mom and I came to the US in 1997. The challenges that we faced in those early years were mostly revolving around language, as far as I can recall. The kids also made fun of my hair. I had this very short boy cut. I remember one day I asked a group of boys where the bathroom was, and they looked me up and down, and with my just like clearance clothes from Caldor, which is no longer a thing, and my short cut hair, they pointed me to the boys' bathroom. Just like forever seared into my brain. Do you think a college degree is worth anything? Not anymore in our world. I don't think so. The degree itself is not worth anything. But I would argue that the process of going to college and meeting the people that you meet and reading the books that you read and living in a space that is different from where you came is interesting. It can, depending on your motives for going to college, you know, fluctuate, but I think what I take away from college was a true overhaul of my understanding of the world and life. So that to me is pretty invaluable. Godzilla pie, that is really gross. No, I've never done that. What do you love most about living in New York City? The variety, the walkability, the food. Somebody else remembers Caldor? Wow. K-Clock, that does sound like a very interesting experience. Favorite Chinese cities? It might surprise you or not, but I've not been to that many Chinese cities, so I do not have an answer to that. But we did, before COVID struck, go to Chengdu, which has some of the best Chinese food I've ever had, and I would say I am still drooling over the food. So if you ever have a chance to go to Chengdu. Great food. Yes, that is where sweet water noodles come from. So I'll just be doing this for the rest of my phone battery life, which I don't know actually. It might die soon. I did not calculate this very carefully. Oh, carnival, fair. My favorite ride at one of those smaller amusement parks will always be the bumper car. Is there a bumper car at this fair? I hope so. That would be my ride for sure. I can be in a bumper car forever and ever and ever. And you have to buy one food. Corn dog? I like corn dogs. I have a memory of my mom buying me a corn dog at a zoo in China when I was a kid. Sweet memory. And ooh. I don't know about games though. Like one of those shooting games where you shoot at the water balloons, maybe. Congratulations on your new French door fridge. How did your upbringing impact your worldview, and what insights did you gain? That's a very extensive question. I mean, coming from two cultures, using two languages, I think my brain is just like abnormal in the best way possible, you know? When I went off to college, I took this class called Postmodern Religious Thought. It had a very deep impact on the way that I viewed the world. One of the authors we read was Levinas, Emmanuel, no. I can't remember his first name. But his last name is Levinas. And I think he lived through the Holocaust. And he wrote basically on this idea of the self and the other, and how existence is violence, because the minute you choose to live, you are therefore complicit in engaging in everyday violence. Killing plants, killing animals, eating them. You know, like, you might potentially also have to kill a person to live. He lived through the Holocaust where there was limited food, and I think there was one passage I remember where he was talking about having a piece of bread in his hand and like looking into the eyes of the other and thinking if he ate that bread, the other person would not have that bread. And every single time it would be a decision of, do I commit this violence in order to stay alive? So I don't think I have an answer to your question. There's a lot to say about everything. It's a very big question. Bye, have fun cleaning your fridge. I'm sorry my hands are very Taro-y right now, so if I missed a question and you want to ask it again, just ask it again until I answer it. But I don't want to scroll up with my Taroed hands. Advice on wanting to move out but hesitant because I don't want to leave my parents by themselves. I don't have any advice for you. It's a very personal decision. How old are they? Are they in good health? Are they going to be devastated that you're moving far away from them? Is it possible to move far away enough that you can have your own life but still be close enough that you can visit them? All questions to think about. Yes, I never grew up celebrating a lot of Chinese holidays because the American education system doesn't recognize other cultures' holidays, besides very few ones like St. Patrick's Day for some reason. But what is Tomb Sweeping Day? Because I never really understood. Because I never celebrated this. I feel very un-Chinese in this way. I don't know any of the holidays. I am not good at video games. I tried to play video games once on Aaron's Twitch, and those of you who watched it discovered just how bad I am at video games. They seem like something that's fun. If you could go visit anywhere in the world, where would you go, assuming the world is normal? I want to go to Germany. I want to go to Taiwan. When we used to travel, we would try to alternate between Europe and Asia. Not that we did too many rounds of it, but we did Japan one year, and then we did Italy the next time, and then we did like a Hong Kong, Chengdu, Hanoi trip, and there was a Spain and Portugal one in between, so we did like 4 major trips. We also wanted to go to Morocco, but we couldn't fit it into our itinerary, so. Aaron has a Twitch, but we don't really stream on there anymore. We just did it like a few times. I think we watched Mark Wiens on one once, and then we played some video games. I played some video games and failed at it, and Aaron was losing his mind over how incompetent I was. In a good way, like he had fun laughing at me being incompetent, and I just shut down. I was like, this is so frustrating. And he was like, this is the easy game, and I was like, there is no such thing as the easy game for me. Aaron and I had a Lebanon trip set for April 2020. We obviously canceled it. And then we tried to reschedule it again, and then Lebanon was just in chaos. And that's what made us decide to go to Cairo and Egypt instead. And then mom died 3 days into that trip. So it's gonna be a while, I think, before I get to travel again. If not for having to take care of my grandma, then also just for my own readiness, like emotionally speaking, I don't think I'm ready to travel quite yet. I don't think my heart would be there, and I think there's just too many unfinished businesses that I have to tend to first with mom's passing that would enable me to feel like it's a good time to travel. But don't worry about that, because COVID never seems like it's gonna end. I've not had experience solo traveling, no. I think I would get very lost, but something to consider. Maybe it's time for me to grow up a little. I think I'm just insecure about being in a foreign place on my own. I would also just feel really... I never really liked traveling, so Aaron was always the one who liked traveling, and, you know, it was a good reason for me to actually take vacation time away from work when he would invite me on trips. I don't know, man. I'm just a little bit nihilistic. What is there to see? I truly do feel like Eeyore is a very accurate representation of who I am. I'm not sure what the visa situation would look like from China to here. I mean, the reason I travel is always for food, period. I'm not really, I'm an awful visitor, but I'm not really interested in like the historical things. I don't even like museums. Aaron wants me to go to museums. I go sometimes. And other times I'm just like, you go to museums. I don't want to go to museums. We're gonna put these in the freezer. I'll take you to Fred. You can say hi and bye to him. Hi, Freddy. How's your nap time, bud? Did you have a good nap? You want to smell my smoothie? My melted smoothie? Mmm, yummy. What do you think, Fred? What's your judgment on the world this week? Did we do good or bad or worse? Your teeth are looking mighty good, Freddy. Yeah. Thank you for showing me your butthole. We love the butthole. Why do you look so discontent today, bud? Are you discontent? Oh, that's cute. You're cute, Freddy. You're so cute. You don't want me touching your toesies? Fred, I think you've been gaining a little too much tummy. What do you think? Should we cut back on the greenies? Should we put you on a diet? Wow, his tail was going crazy when I told him diet time. Look at that. Just sheer annoyance at the mention of diet. Me too, Freddy. Me too. Alright guys, I'm gonna leave you be. I hope you have a great rest of your day, great rest of your weekend. And Freddy says you should take a nap now. So, off to bed we all go. Bye.